Hey guys, for this video tutorial, I'm going to be covering backside shove-its. A backside shove-it is when you are riding on your board and it spins in the backside direction relative to your stance. So for me, that would mean spinning clockwise this direction. And you could do a shove-it either off the nose of your board or the tail of your board. I think that some people find it easier to go off the tail, and I also think that some people find it easier to go off the nose, so I don't feel like you have to learn one before you learn the other. So let's start with going off the tail. To set up, you are going to have your back foot basically on the tail, and your front foot is going to be somewhere on the front of the board. I like to have it maybe here. I actually change my position up a lot depending on where I'm doing this trick and the context in which I'm doing this. So definitely try out different foot positions for this. And you're gonna see that as we start getting into more advanced flip tricks and just tricks in general. They're very, very subjective. So the easiest way that I might find to do a trick may not be the easiest way for you to learn the trick. But I can help maybe provide some ideas on things you could try to help find your ideal position. And when you do it, you're basically going to jump, and while you jump, you're going to kick back with your back foot. So you're kicking a little bit down and a little bit back with that back foot. You don't have to pop your board off the ground that much for this. You're really just pushing down and kicking back. This is different from a pop shove-it in which you are literally like making a popping noise with your board to pop it up off the ground. And we'll cover those in a later video. Now to do this off the nose, the setup is pretty similar, except as you might guess, your front foot is past the bolt on the nose of the board and your back foot is the one that you kind of have to figure out what works best for you. But my setup might be something like that. And when you do it off the nose, you're gonna push down with your front foot and jump while pushing back with your back foot. So notice that the mechanics are slightly different. When you're doing it from the tail, it's pretty much all done with your back foot. And when you're doing it from the nose, you use your front foot to bring the back of your board up like a lever, but you're still using your back foot to spin the board. So off the nose, it's more of a 2-foot trick. Off the tail, it's more of a 1-foot trick. And when you do this, you're basically going to push down and then kick back again like you did with the shove it off the tail. Try these both standing still at first and going forward just a little bit. Sometimes it is easier to do the trick while moving rather than trying to stay in one spot. Also, remember to stay kind of low and crouch. This will help you maintain stability, which is going to be critical because this is going to be hard to land on at first because your board's spinning around and then you're landing back on your board after it's spinning. It's going to be tough to acquire the balance, but it's definitely possible because if I can do it, then you could definitely do it. So let me do a few of these and I'll try and slow them down for you so you can look at the mechanics a little bit easier and get an idea of how this trick is really working. Notice how my board doesn't really come off the ground with some of those. It still manages to spin, but it's kind of just scraping the ground, maybe getting a little bit off the ground. Of course, when you're learning this, do not be ashamed or afraid to wear a helmet and wrist guards. there's a very good likelihood when you land on your board, you can slip out if you haven't acquired that balance yet. So I definitely recommend that. Any little hesitation you have will affect your ability to land the trick. So you might as well get your confidence as high as it can be in order to help you land this trick. So start practicing them. Maybe try little routines to work on it. Like every day, try and get at least like when you're first learning it, just try and get 1 every session. And then maybe try and get 5 every session. And then try and get 3 in a row, 5 times every session. You know, try and build up your consistency, because this is a great trick for learning how to use your feet to make the board spin and flip around and then land back on the board after it's done that flip. It's kind of like it's just a very, very fundamental flip trick, which we're going to be getting into soon. So take your time learning this, learn it safely, and have fun.